So hello and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Live. This is part 2 of our random question thingy game
Yes.
that Ilian made for us.
So
And
far we had pretty interesting questions, some funny. Yeah.
yeah, some funny, some a bit more serious. But yeah, it was fun, and we're gonna continue with that. Mert, why don't you start?
Yeah, sure. Let's see what our pot gives us next. It says good and bad karma. I guess Ilian wants to know if we believe in karma or in bad or in good karma. Um, did you make any experience maybe? What do you say?
Well, it's always hard to say this is karma or not. I think most of the time is when when people say, "Oh yeah, bad karma" or karma, I think for me karma is always, I think more of like a negative term. So anytime when I like said something about someone for fun or whatever, and said something bad to them, like they look ugly today, and then like a minute later I hit my toe at my couch or something, I would be like, haha, karma.
Yeah.
So I think that's more of like the negative thing about it. I never really like karma always was a bad thing for me. I think never that I had the karma of like, or that someone would say like, hey, you have good karma or something like this. I think it's sometimes maybe with weather or something where you say like, okay, yeah, we're gonna go camping at this day, and it's like 3 weeks and then it looks like it's gonna rain, but at the day it actually doesn't rain. If that's like karma, it's like luck for me. That would be luck. Good karma would be luck for me.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you mean. So basically, you would associate karma with something more negative.
100%.
Okay. I get it.
You?
I would say karma itself is so it's. I would say it's neutral. I'm not sure if I would say it's like this universal energy which gives back what you do basically. So if you do good, then you will receive good by this universal energy, or the other way around. If you do bad, then you bad will happen to you. So I don't know if it's like an energy, this cosmic energy, but I see karma more as a vibe thing, as a aura thing, you know. If
Okay.
you try to achieve a good karma, so you try to do positive things, I believe that automatically you have this positive aura. You seem to be more friendly, even if you haven't talked to people yet, you know, just by how you walk and how you maybe step into the room already makes people think of you as a friendly person, and then this already opens up the door for positive things to happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
And the other way around, if you have this negative attitude and you try to do bad things to people, hurt them, then eventually you will attract the same kind of people.
Negative, well, like negative, yeah, I get what you
attract
mean.
this negativity, you know, so bad things will happen to you.
Mm.
So, like I said, I don't think it's like this. You do something bad and then the universe punishes you, but it's more how you feel yourself, and based on that, how you present yourself, and that's what I think is good or bad karma.
I like the theory. But I think I found like a little loophole in it.
Yeah.
Because if you think about, because you basically said like if you do good or like have the intent to do good, that always resigns like you, as you said, like with people. So if you portray yourself positive or in a positive way for people because you want to help people, but let's say that you are a famous artist, and then you should tour a lot because your fans want you to tour a lot, or you want more music and stuff, and that would then endanger your relationship with your family. In the end, if you then say, I'm not going to tour and I'm not going to do the elves because I want to be happy with my family, that could result in other people not being happy, and therefore this could then be as like bad karma. So in the end, like bad publicity or bad stuff could happen to you.
Yes.
So I think that's like the one sided thing, I think, where
Yeah.
the good and bad karma.
doing good things for people is not about like pleasing them, being an artist and touring in every city in the world. It's more about maybe simpler things, you know, just
Positive thinking of the world, I would say, or like positive, like in general, I think, and that would then result in good karma.
You find a wallet, and then you have the option to keep it or to return it. You know,
how much money is in it?
Simple things like that. Or you find keys. Are you gonna just leave them, not care, or
what car is it?
pick them up and return it somewhere?
Yeah.
So it's not, like I said, it's not about pleasing people. It's more about doing good. So yeah, I think in that sense there is some good and bad karma.
Good bad karma. Yeah, I'm still sticking with my bad karma theory.
Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
I'm gonna head into the next question, which is music, film, or video games. Probably we have to choose, or like rank them from 1 to 3 maybe. I think that's the best way to do it.
I guess so. Music, film, video games. So if I have to pick one and not
discard, like either one of those which you can live without, basically.
So I think I would keep then video games.
What?
Oh
my god.
Yeah, I think I would keep video games because I'm really into storytelling. I like storytelling of any kind, so I also like books and movies, and music can also tell a story. And that's also what I consider good music, when it has like a message, you know, has a story, it makes you feel something. But I think that video games have this special way of telling you that story.
You can interact with it more
the story.
than
You are
with the other.
actually part of the story. You know, you play the main character. In a book or a movie, you just observe. You're just watching what happens. But in a video game, you feel, or I personally feel like I'm more into that world.
You can change it a bit.
You can change it a bit, and yeah, it makes you. And I also like those games which are a bit distant from reality. So like Fallout, for example, which is like this retro futuristic post-apocalyptic scenario, and you just dive into this different kind of world which takes you away from all those worldly problems. So yeah, I would say video games.
I'm currently playing Fallout 4 actually. I quite like it. So for me, if I would have to rank them, I would rank them in the exact order that I read them out with. So music would be number 1, movies would be number 2, and lastly would be video games. Cause so I play all of them, or I do everything basically, but video games is the stuff that I do the least. And I think the thing is with music is, for me, music is like, I listen to music constantly, so I think I couldn't stop that. And I think music is so nice. It can change the mood, so like for something so instantly, and you can that's like the most, you can take your phone everywhere and like you can always listen to music, I would say. Or it's always the easiest to listen to music than to watch a movie. And of course it's great to sit down and watch a movie with your family or with your girlfriend or whatever, or just going to the cinema and ever. But I think still for me, music would be number 1, because I love music so much and I just listen to it constantly. So
yeah,
therefore I would just take that.
I understand what you mean, and looking at it from that perspective, I would also agree that maybe music is more important. So if I also would rank it, then I would actually put music first, and then video games, and then movies. Because out of the reason which you just mentioned, nowadays it's easier. You can take your music everywhere, basically. You just have your phone. You don't even necessarily need headphones, you know. With video games or also with movies, it's more difficult. You can also play on your phone, but
and I think when you listen to music, it's also multitasking. You can do other things as well.
You can also do other things, exactly.
If you want to watch a movie, you have to sit down somewhere or whatever.
Exactly.
And you can't do anything else.
You can go to the gym and listen to music and motivate yourself. And like you said, it also you can change moods really quickly. It can motivate you. It can calm you down.
It can just brighten stuff. It can brighten sports. It can brighten evenings when you have dinner or stuff you shouldn't watch. Or like for me personally, I would rather eat dinner and listen to music, and then you can still talk to someone. And then with movies, of course, you can do the same, but then you want to focus on the movie and stuff, you know. Yeah. And so for me, music is just...
So yeah, like I said, ranking-wise, I would actually put music first. Yeah. But if I just have to pick one, then I would rather go a whole day without music
Okay.
and then play some video game 1 or 2 hours in the
Yeah.
evening, then not play video game at all,
Yeah.
but then have access.
And again, looking at
To
video
music.
games, you also have music in them as well. So
That's also a thing,
Yeah.
right? So if I pick video games, does it mean that the video games don't have music in it anymore?
yeah,
Because then maybe I might not pick video
Yeah.
games. Because music is actually a huge part of the mood.
yeah. Okay, perfect.
Um,
That was.
Should we go for another one?
Definitely, yeah. Just going to the part again. It was me, right? No, your turn. Your turn.
I think
See-
it was my turn. Yes.
It's your turn. Yes.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Can there be positive racism or is it still racism?
Oh, okay. This is a different question. Okay, a bit more serious question. For me personally, I think I would first off I wouldn't call it positive racism. Like I think
or maybe
it's just
positive
it just doesn't.
stereotype.
Yeah, because for me racism, doesn't really work with that.
always has this negative touch, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you put it that way, I would say then no, because positive racism is a different thing for me, and I wouldn't call it that.
Yeah.
So I think, of course, if you say, oh yeah, this race or like these people from this nationality can do something better than others do, I think it's just like a lot of people say like Germans can drink a lot of beer, and like I wouldn't be mad if people would tell that to me, or they say, oh yeah, Germans, you can drink a lot of beer, right? But it also kind of sounds like for them it might be positive, but for me I might be like, well, actually that just sounds like where you just get drunk a lot and stuff.
Yeah.
This nationality that just drinks a lot, So for me, I would say is positive still, I would say, bad in that sort of sense, or in that sort of sense I wouldn't call it.
Would you say it is still kind of offensive to use, let's say positive stereotypes? So
If you
would you say it's still okay to say that, I don't know,
in the right scenario, I would
all
say yes.
Asians are good at maths, for example? Is that still, would you say this is still offensive because it is still a stereotype about a race?
Mm.
Or would you say in that context it's not making them look bad, so it doesn't put them down, it actually kind of lifts them up?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say it like that. So, but what I would basically do is, let's say I have a math problem and I have an Asian friend and I have a Bulgarian friend. I would probably go to the Asian person,
And
and most likely this is gonna help me more. So if you call that then positive
that's what
racism,
you think, but
and
maybe
then
he's not
yeah,
good
maybe
at
he's exactly, maybe he's not good at math, and then he would be mean like, why did you think I was good at math? And then that would become a bad thing again. So I think in the right circumstance you can use it. In another circumstance it's just gonna be bad again.
Yeah, that's a question. Like, if you would be an Asian and someone comes up to you and is like, yo, dude, can you help me with that math problem? Would you be offended that this person thinks you're good at maths just because you're Asian? Because I don't know, maybe it's
again, if a person would come to me and would ask me for a reference for beer, and then also mentions, because you're German, right? So you drink a lot of beer, and then I am not able to do that, then I might be like, oh wow, just because I'm German you go to me with beer. But in the end, like, I can just tell him, well, yeah, I know quite a few beers, but actually I'm not the kind of beer drinker. Then but I still might know people that are very, very good in choosing that, and I might be the first person to talk to in that sort of regard. So I think it can definitely be like kind of like, I think it would, in a funny way. I think if the people know each other pretty well, I think then it would work and then it would be fine. But I think if you would do that to a random person, then it was always gonna be awkward, and then I think then that would result in a negative.
Yeah, I also
thing.
think that it really depends on the people, like
The scenario, the environment,
the scenario, the context. But I also think that positive stereotypes, if they are too extreme, can also offend people.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah, so to answer the question, I think we agree on this one. Can there be positive racism? Maybe in a way, but
otherwise
not really. Right.
Yeah. Okay, let me quickly take another question out. Okay, this is like a few questions, but in one. Would you want to be famous? And then follow-up questions would be famous for what? And if not, then why not?
It's a good question. I actually always had this dream as a child. I always wanted to be a wrestling star.
Oh,
So
wrestling star.
if I could be famous and for what, then I would be famous for being a great entertainer, I guess, wrestler. Because I just enjoyed watching those big shows and
But then it would be in
go,
America then, right? Because
yes,
in America, WWE or like wrestling
yeah, the
is like
biggest
way bigger
league,
than
yeah.
somewhere else.
And you see this big show and everyone is cheering for you and you're a big star and you just it's basically acting, but you're also doing athletic stuff and it's a whole circus, you know, and you're an entertainer and it seems so glamorous. So that's why I would like to be in such a place. But at the same time, I think we also mentioned in the previous part in the episode when we talked about money and happiness that I think that if you're that famous, life is not that easy. I think you will also have other different problems. So, and you also see that in media, like a lot of celebrities, it turns out that they struggle with drug abuse, for example, because they couldn't live with the stress anymore. So, yes,
So differs from the famous perspective, right? If you say if you want to be a wrestler, of course you're not going to be that noticeable in when you visit Europe or something, because you're mostly like most people that watch WWE and stuff would then be in America. So if you don't walk
yeah,
around there, not
no.
everyone is going to notice you, and then you can still walk the streets without fucking crowds
I
going
mean,
behind you
yeah,
like big actors. Like no Leonardo
depends, yeah.
DiCaprio is not going to walk around fucking
No,
New York
definitely, yeah.
anymore because you would be get
Definitely.
overrun by fans.
But yeah, other than that, maybe I would also like to be famous for being an artist, making music with a band or something.
Yeah.
But then it would be just, yeah, I would like to be successful with the band, not because I would like to be famous, but I would just like to
It just
have
happened that way.
just
Or what do you mean?
no, just have this experience, you know, being famous so I can be a musician. You know what I mean? So
Okay,
not
okay,
being
okay.
famous to be famous, but being famous so I have a reason to go on tour and
Yeah.
play the music with the band and make people happy, you know, just to have this experience. Because yeah, I was in kind of like it was not a high school band, but it was with people from my high school, and we played in this band, and just that was already amazing. And then you go on tour and you live together and you also fight, and it's yeah, I think that would be nice. Would you like to be famous though?
I would, and I think it would be cool. And like since I'm in love with the fashion industry and I want to work there someday, I think it actually might be cool to actually be like, let's say, one of the top dogs of the dream job I would have in fashion. So let's say, because I want to work in marketing and fashion, let's say that would be famous for being like the head marketing official for Prada and like brought them like on a different like loop again to my ideas for not the clothes, but I just working with this designer and have this perfect connection so that you make something like perfect and you can distribute it or like market it perfectly as well. I think that would be so cool. Of course, like being an actor and stuff might also be cool, but I think that would just be like too much, and I think it also wouldn't be worth the monies that you would make. Like for me personally, if I would speak it from the fashion perspective, from that world, not everyone is gonna know me if I walk around the street, because people would rather like look at the designer and not the guy who did the marketing for it.
Yeah,
But let's say like you would be famous in those circles, so then some people would know you that are also in that world, but not like an ordinary mom that walks by to get her kids some food
yeah,
in a supermarket is gonna notice me and be like, oh my god, oh my god, I know you.
yeah. Being famous in a specific scene.
Yeah, and then so I would still make a lot of money, good money, but I can also still do whatever I want outside without getting like paparazzi everywhere. And then I would say that is like for me personally would be more worth than being like an actor who would probably make significantly more, but also can't walk the streets anymore in certain places because you're just a star, like a really big star. But yeah,
Yeah. So
that's like my whole approach on the whole famous not famous thing.
yeah, you would go for like a
Undercover famous,
like, yeah, undercover famous, yeah,
undercover
like a
famous.
middle way, more moderate.
Yeah, or
Moderate
famous in certain circles, but not in the general eye of public.
Yeah,
That would
I
be
get it.
that would be my favorite type of famous. I would say.
Okay. I think it's time for another one.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. It's not much left. Um. Okay, I think now I'm getting the funny questions. If animals could talk, which would be the rudest, funniest, etc. of them?
Oof, this is really, really hard. I think in a perspective, let's say from right now, like let's say like I just snap and from now on every animal could talk. I would really like to have a conversation with my old dog at home. Like he's 8 now, and we've had him since he was like 3 months, I believe. We adopted him, and I think from that point forward till now, let's say he has like perfect memory of everything, so you can actually and then be like, "Damn, you were like," and then he would talk to me like, "You were weird as a kid," or whatever, like so stupid. Because again, I think like from all of my family members, I think all of us talk to my dog, so my dog knows everything.
Yes.
And just like knowing, like seeing, like how do you feel like being my animal? So I'm deciding when you get food, I'm gonna take you out, I'm gonna be pissed at you if you do something that I do not like.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to talk to them about that as well. And if they would say, if I would say like, if they would have done anything different than I would have done, you know.
Yeah.
But again, like if you think about it, like dog brain is not going to be that capable of doing that much as ours, you know. So if he just says like weird stuff, because
Yeah,
they're
but
speaking essentially, but like of course if they could speak our language, it would
yeah,
be.
but
Uh,
like in general, because
okay,
I
yeah.
think
But again, like
for yeah,
that's just like the first animal I would talk to. In regards to which would be the meanest, the funniest ones, I think like I think cats are annoying nowadays already. So I think of them because they feel that they are so arrogant now
yes,
already, and we already think that they're arrogant. So meaning then if they would talk, they'd be like, "Oh yes, so I do not like this. I would like to have this and this, and I'm gonna do whatever.
yeah,
I want to be on my own. Don't leave me. I don't want to be cuddled by you or whatever." So I think those could be like mean animals
yeah.
if they could talk.
I think for rudest, I don't know. I would go with some flies maybe.
Oh my god! Oh my god! You don't just hear like
Just
but you just hear like, "I'm coming for you.
yes,
You will not
exactly. And,
do.
like just really annoy you.
I will
And
bite you here. No, actually, I'm gonna bite you here." And then, oh my god, no way. Yeah, I would choose them over that as well, 100%. Damn.
but I also see other animals like an owl, for example. I can picture an owl being like super friendly and
Mm.
kind of like a grandpa-ish, you know.
With the beard and stuff and the glasses for movies and
Yes,
stuff.
you know. Wasn't the owl in Winnie the Pooh actually like that?
Yeah, it could be actually. I'm not sure.
Like this educated animal and knows everything. But yeah, I think dogs actually would be the funniest ones.
But I think also what goes into this now is, since you've just talked about it, movies already portray animals that they can talk. So I think we could also, in the back of our heads when we were kids, we might saw like grizzly bears, or like, let's say, if you look at a bull, you wouldn't, right now you would say, you might actually be like good friends with a bull, and you would say, "Oh yeah, it's this bulls are so friendly." But then you see like these in movies, and like always bulls were always bad, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that could like be jumping into that as well. And of course their natural like habitat as well. I wouldn't call a tiger friendly, you know.
You never know.
Yeah,
Maybe
but he
if they
could, but he
maybe
could,
if
yeah,
they
he
could
could
talk,
talk,
they would
yeah,
be like
different, yeah,
super chill and be like, "Yo, I just want to have some food, and then I'm
yeah,
gonna go into that shadow and
yeah,
just sleep."
mm,
You, you never know. And snakes also, you know,
yeah,
we see them as these dangerous and
backstabbing things,
slimy. Yeah,
backstabbing
exactly.
things, like
You speak of someone
being a snake, and then yeah,
but maybe they're also just in their own vibe, you
mm.
know.
I think you
I
can,
think snakes
yeah.
would be also pretty chill.
Mm. Now I think like since you can call a bit like humans, let's say like at a certain beginning we couldn't understand each other, and then at a certain point we then learned how to understand each other, and then we still kind of like got each other, and in a certain way then sort of living with each other. And I think if you could do that with any animal, I think you could build this trust,
Yeah,
you know, with them. And then I think some people that are like that have like trained lions and stuff, I think they could somehow already speak their language with not speaking with them, you
yeah,
know. I
there's
think
a
that's
different
just
bond.
like
Yeah.
and I think that's why my reason would be, of course in like there I could still picture some animals being like mean or like comparison to other animals that I know from how they act. They think they could be more mean or funny, but I think in general I think you could every of these animals could be different at a certain point depending on how you guys talk with each other, basically, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think it would be pretty cool if animals could
Speak our language, yeah,
talk
yeah,
in
yeah.
general, or if you could
Yeah.
communicate in a more easy way.
But could then, yeah, yeah, exactly. But then we would also have the idea of like, could other animals then also speak with each other so that everyone would speak one language?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
That would be, yeah, would be
that
really
would
funny.
be really interesting, funny.
Mm. Okay, I'm gonna pick one new question. Actually, not that many left. Okay, okay. Nudity, sexuality in media. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Interesting question, Ilian.
Very interesting. Yes. Um,
I think it's getting, generally speaking, just media, because media is getting so much bigger now. I think nudity and sexuality is already like pretty, compared it like to the early ages of media, it's way more normalized now, in my opinion. Or it's in the general public eye, it's not as bad as it would have been like years ago.
yeah. I mean, I think if you think back to marketing, maybe in the very beginnings it wasn't such a big thing, but I believe that mankind realized that sex sells, basically.
Yeah.
Um,
So now,
so even in the 70s, 80s, you maybe have movies or advertisements where sexuality is a topic,
mm,
but the people were not that nude, maybe.
yeah,
So I think sexuality was always a thing, but speaking about nudity,
yeah,
it definitely increased. And it became more normal. Like things that would be outrageous like 10 years ago
mm.
are nowadays normal. So I don't know if I would say it's good or bad. I don't know.
Looking at it from a media perspective, the porn industry is so big and it generates so much money.
That's true. Yes.
So I think that's like a whole new stream of media, which is nowadays like so normal, as you just said. Like that's like, yeah. And then also like with sexuality in media, I think nowadays is of course way more open to, I don't know, for like portraying yourself as what you want to be. So I think nowadays, I think of course way more people hear about it, and it could be like a scandal or whatever, in for some people's eyes. But then I think like that you're not gonna get received that much like hate as you would have like years ago, or like because at that time it just wasn't normal. Everyone disliked that in the public eye, and now just more people are open to the idea of all these things.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, it makes people to some extent be more open. But yeah, it's funny because you said porn industry is so huge, but that's fitting to the topic because looking at some of the music videos
Mm.
nowadays, like Nicki
Basically,
Minaj or Cardi B or what, like all of them the same. I mean, it's not a porn, but it is very sexual.
it goes
and
very
there's a lot of nudity, even if they're not fully nude. There's not much clothing left, you know. And also
everyone
when
can
you
see that. It's not like
yeah,
that.
exactly. There's easy access to it, and also with like TikTok or other platforms, it's like really booming with nudity.
Mm.
And I mean, we're grown up. Maybe we see it differently. I personally, I don't know.
Well, some even shock me. Like for instance, when I watched the music video of "Industry Baby," I think from Lil Nas X, the prison scene where these guys were completely nude and were dancing with him.
Yeah, but
Of course, it was censored, but I meant like I was like, if this wouldn't be, or like if these censors would be a bit more not censored, this is actually basically a porn. So
pretty much.
that
Yes.
would, but I would also be like, for me, like, yeah, I'm not sure. I want to look at this like when if it's a music video again.
Exactly. Does it? I mean, on one side, yes, it's maybe good that people are more open about this, and sexuality and nudity is not such a taboo topic anymore. But at the same time, I wonder if it's actually needed to have this much sexuality and nudity in media. Like,
Mm.
maybe it is true what they say, that sometimes less is more.
Mm. Well, again, I would just say everyone should do their thing, and if they want to do that and be nude or post themselves nude on media, and I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
everyone for themselves.
Mm. You want to go for our next question?
Yeah, I think this is second to last one. Um, so it says reality TV / social media make believe world. Yeah, what do you think about this make believe pretended world that social media and Instagram and also
Showcase.
a lot of reality TVs like showcase and created in people's mind?
I think for me personally, it's not the biggest issue. The only thing I have issues with is that, like, the younger generations, like, directly, like, grow up with this stuff. So basically, from the beginning on, they have a phone. They have like access to these like different kinds of like perfect for, yeah, like it's mostly shows. So it's not like that this person is living their perfect life, because they probably also have bad days as well. And it's not just like that glamorous. And then you, oh yeah, I'm gonna be paintballing today, and I paint, and then he posts the next one directly after that, which is also paintballing, but it's like a week afterwards. But they just see those, oh yeah, paintballing always.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, yeah, but he's not going paintballing every day. You know, it's so for me, I know this, but like if you grow up like having all these access from a kid on, you can, like, these people teach you that's like there's this much perfectness everywhere, and I think
Yeah.
that's gonna be bad for you in general, because then you expect so much, although you're not gonna be able to do most of the stuff that these people are doing. You know, and so I think that's like a bit of a curse again, like, because for me it's, well, I know that this is well, I know that this is not reality based, of course, or like it is, but not like that this person is always happy or this person is whatever, you know. So for me, I kind of like don't have an issue with it because I know it, but I think people that are just not, yeah, think of these things as like, oh yeah, I can reach these things as well. And if you can't, of course, it's like, could also be like a, like sort of like basically that you like eagerly want this, and then you can actually achieve it. So you have like a goal, you set yourself goals earlier, and I think that you want to work for that and then become better, and then of course it could be beneficial. But I think it could also just be like, oh yeah, I'm never going to be that either way, and then you just have like this negative aura, or like then you're just more of a negative person then.
Yeah, what I think about it is, like you said, we maybe see it differently, and we know that, for example, those vacation pictures or people doing different activities or whatever are just snapshots of their life, and people don't like to promote themselves with bad stuff, right? So they will only tell you, even if it's not on social media, even if it's just telling you in person, they will most likely tell you about good things and not so much about bad things, you know.
Depends on the person though, I think.
Yes,
If
it's
it's your
really,
really best friend, you can also just be like,
but in general, you know, I mean, if
you would want to
go
spread positivity, you don't want to spread
you
negative
go
stuff.
to uni, and even if you have a bad day and someone asks you, hey, how you doing, you're gonna answer, yeah, I'm fine. You're not gonna be like, oh, actually, you know,
Because you want that person to go away again.
maybe that, or maybe you just don't want people to know that you're having a bad day, so whatever. And that's also the issue I have with like social media or those reality shows, and especially the kids growing up in this environment, you know, they grow up, or people, doesn't have to be kids, also grown up people start to believe that everything needs to be perfect as in Instagram, and they accept it as a truth, and they truly believe that themselves are so perfect, and they don't see their own issues anymore. And even beyond that, they start judging people based on this image which was created of a perfect world. So it is really difficult. I don't know. I mean, yeah, life is not that easy as it seems.
Most times, yeah. Or as you see it in media or in general.
Exactly, and also it also fits to the topic with being famous. You know, we talked about movie stars or being a rock star, famous artist or famous wrestler. You know, we see the glamorous side of it, and
But you also have to be glamorous for also like to promote the movie and stuff. You always have to be happy. You always have to have a smile, because otherwise the movie might not sell. So I think you also like are made to showcase that, and I think that already then makes it already worse,
yes,
in my point of view.
exactly, and then we create these people as perfect images or yeah whatever, and then you see some scandal
Yeah.
and something bad happened, maybe something even just humanly, you know. I don't know, some celebrity got drunk at a bar and it's going to be this huge scandal in the media, and a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't have a respect for this person anymore, and they judge them based on this perfect image they have, and they forget that not
They don't know the backstory. They don't know
yeah,
everything
exactly.
and
They
stuff.
don't know what happened maybe that night. Maybe it was a good thing and he was celebrating, and it's so what, he got drunk or so yeah, I really am against this whole social media make believe everything is perfect thing.
Yeah. For me personally, right now it wouldn't be an issue, but I think in regards to kids and stuff, for me personally, just for them growing up, I would say, yeah, it's not good.
Yep.
Not good at all.
I
So
think we
reached the
came
last
to
question.
the last one.
Yes. So, okay, this is actually a good question to end on. Podcasts. Why, what, how? What is a podcast? I don't know.
Yeah, I think podcasts in general, good thing.
Definitely.
It's similar to music. You can listen to one any place, anywhere. They can be informative,
They can be funny.
funny, just entertaining, and so yeah, why not? It's a cool thing, I would say.
I think for me personally, it's learning a lot. I think also helps. If also like as you said, like informative and scientific podcasts. Yeah, I think it's just more fun to listen to, and also like again, like you also have podcasts that are filmed stuff, so you even have like an image as well. I think if you just have this excitement that the person brings to the table about the topic, I think just helps me really way more than actually reading up on that topic and basically teaching it to myself through reading. So I would rather enjoy, and I think that's so for me that's like a really cool thing. You can do it while cooking, while eating and stuff, as you said, to calm down as well, I would say. And it's a different, it's like something else from music, which I fairly enjoy. And since I've also always been a good a supporter of audiobooks, I can also like podcasts. So it's for me like kind of like reading a book, but like on a nice way. And that's the same thing with me for books. And of course, I also occasionally like to read, but listening is always easier.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
say.
for me it's also easier, and for me podcasts, or especially the one from Joe Rogan. I was following him for some time. You get in touch with a lot of different topics, and he's
Few
not the
people as
only
well.
yeah, and he's not the only one who's doing it in such a way. So podcasts for me are a way to get informed about topics, or maybe get to know about people I wouldn't necessarily look up, or maybe I wouldn't know that information, that whatever happened. For example, there was this one guy who so he's dark skinned, and he is kind of a social worker, and what he does, he goes around and meets people and members of the Ku Klux Klan,
Okay.
and just talks to them and tries to understand them, and he was even able to turn some of them to the good side, basically. You know, he was able to show them that what they're doing is wrong, and they opened their eyes, you know, and to see this stupid ideology. And I, like me personally, that's something you wouldn't see on the news. Like, even if you watch the news, read the newspapers, that's not a person you would read about in media. So it's cool to have heard about him and to listen to his story. And there are many other people and topics like that. So I think it's cool. But then at the same time, everyone can do a podcast, right?
Yes. That
Um,
is.
everyone can just grab some microphones and start about some,
Not even microphones. You can also just record on your phone. It's
On
not
your
that hard.
phone,
Like
yeah,
everyone could
exactly.
do that nowadays.
And just share your opinion about anything and everything. But is it really necessary though? Do we need so many people who just talk about stuff and share their opinion and um,
Well,
pretend that they know what's going on?
I think some podcasts are just a necessity, as ours is, for people to be happy, to be yeah. It's like this podcast perfects people. No, but of course, I again, like, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I have like my favorites, and then it's yeah, again, like, you like the host or whatever, you like what the idea of the podcast, their concept is, and then you just listen to them. It's also always nice. So it's basically a book from an author, and but then like way more often.
Yeah.
Then, because yeah, as you said, making a podcast is not that hard. Instead of writing a book, is different level.
Sorry,
So yeah, therefore, yeah, there are definitely some podcasts out there which I'm not listening to or think are rubbish. But then of course other people might think differently. So
Yeah.
I think podcasts deserves their big spot in media, and I think they're a good thing, essentially,
I agree.
in the end. Yeah.
Basically, I agree. Well, yeah. So that was our last question. Thank you, Ilian, for preparing all of these.
Very good ones as well. Props to you.
Yes.
And yeah, so that basically concludes our special two part
Yeah. Our
episode on random topics. And yeah, and the next one is going to be
Yeah, it's gonna be a goodbye episode, basically. Sadly, the time has come.
that we have to spread our wings and fly,
Yes, and
fly to the business world to become famous and rich.
Exactly. Hollywood is waiting still.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, the next one will be the last one, and
Exactly. So definitely tune in, and yeah, then talk to you for the last time next time.